Hey guys, while I'm filling up my very expensive tank of petrol, I thought I'd start talking about the race that we've had this week in Austria, Leogang. So, as everyone saw, the track is supposed to be easy. I guess one of the easier tracks we have on the circuit, as people think it is, but once you got wet and absolutely drenched, it wasn't actually that easy at all. Like not as much as Luton I guess, but an insane amount of people actually crashed during this week, and like some of the big names didn't even make it to the top. Namely, I think Cole had a lot of pressure on him. I was rooting for the guy all week, and he looked amazing. However, unfortunately, I think there was a lot of pressure of winning at home and just failed to deliver. Had a bit of pressure, but I still believe he can win one of the races this season. Following that, what did we have? Following that, we still have Jackson, which is not the Jackson we really know. Like, Jackson can pull it out of the bag. Jackson can ride fast in any conditions. He can deliver the run of a lifetime basically every week. And we just didn't see that at all. Like, Jackson wasn't there, making mistakes, kind of losing his feet. It really is kind of not the Jackson that we knew. I think it's a bit different. I'm finished. There you go. How much is that? 62 euros. That's way cheaper than in France, but yeah, still not great. I'm filling up before Switzerland because in Austria it's about 40 cents cheaper than it is in Switzerland and France. So anyways, okay guys, we are back in the trusty Berlingo. I'm very glad this thing can do 1,000k a tank, because if it wasn't, I would probably just go broke. For those of you that don't live in Europe, the litre of diesel is currently about 2 euros. So I'll let you do the conversions in gallons and whatnot if you're in the US, but it's a lot. it's a lot. Anyways, so I was talking about Jackson. Yeah, Jackson doesn't really seem like himself still. I don't know. There's something that is not clicking this year for him, and it seems to be mental, because I don't know, he doesn't seem like he's had any injuries. He's riding well. He hasn't lost any of its technique and stuff. So I can only see, the only reason I can see for that is really mental. But anyways, so Jackson there, Andy Kolb, sad for him, but I reckon he'll get one this year. He's looking absolutely pinned on that new bike. What else did we have? Amaury, always there for some, it's just gonna happen for him. It's just gonna happen for him. He just has to put it together and not crash, which he's done quite a few times. But I'll get there. Super happy for Finn. Finn has been, I actually heard him swearing in practice the morning on Friday. He was basically saying "Come on, dude, wake yourself up." He was just yelling at himself in practice, which is kind of funny. But following that, it just kind of seemed like it might have been his weekend, because he didn't start very well, but then clearly something clicked. He went into Q2, which he obviously wasn't that stoked about, but then Q2 beat the Q1 time. The man was on fire. Finn deserves it. The nicest guy. Is so happy for him that he managed to do that. And actually, his run from Mont-Saint-Anne, when he won the World Cup in Mont-Saint-Anne, is, I think, my favorite World Cup run of all times. And I think that's probably the only one, as I've watched it quite a few times, the only one I get a little bit emotional about. I don't know, the guy just deserves it. He's trained very hard. I was actually in the lift with him before Leogang in Schladming. I was riding in Schladming for a couple of days. If you haven't watched the vlog, go have a look from last week. I was riding Schladming for a couple of days, and he was in the lift with me for one lap, and we were just chatting, and he was saying that really last year was really tough because he couldn't figure out the new bike. He really struggled. I think him and his mechanic and specialized team really struggled to get him a bike that worked for him. I think the sizing was wrong, and he couldn't get a suspension working properly the way he wanted, and he got injured. So it was a bit of a downward spiral, and I think a lot of people wrote him off last year, and kind of me included, to be fair. By the end of last year, I was like, oh, Finn's just done nothing this year, and it's kind of 2 years in a row, and what, where's that going for him and for Specialized? It's not really looking too good. But then I think we have to remember that the cycles of pro athletes, it's really easy to have a bad year,
you're only one injury away, one issue with the bike, one, like, you know, it goes so quickly to have like a bad season, and then people are very quickly writing off those athletes. And yeah, that is the proof that, you know, you should wait and believe in the athletes and the amount of training they put in and how they ride. And that's kind of like what Finn did with himself. And yeah, like his victory was kind of insane. Like, it was such a good run. He looked smooth top to bottom. And I tell you what, if you watch the Average Rider versus World Cup track, this track was not smooth. So making it look smooth on a down bike all the way down the bottom in those conditions, it's quite the feat. So it's super interesting. For the women, I mean, it wasn't really a surprise, but Valley just blew everyone out of the water by considerable margin. But, you know, she's the best, she's at home. It was only, I mean, it was kind of written on the wall, really. But yeah, that proves that she's the best in that new bike. And then will she do a racial athlon and basically clean sweep the whole season? Maybe she will. I don't know, she seems like kind of unstoppable right now with that new bike and that new team. So yeah, to be followed. Some good performances around, but yeah, overall I think for the women, Valley was kind of like the one to remember. Anna Newkirk as well, which I think kind of has been struggling a little bit recently. Last season, the super great performance from her on that Frameworks bike. Interesting to see her coming down. I don't know if it's really her type of track either, so that was actually quite a performance. Yeah, as far as the track goes, I mean, it's always the same. That double in the dry is actually kind of too short at race speed, so it is a bike park double, which is made for, sorry, it's a tabletop, but it's a bike park jump, which is made for bike park. But then when riders like Asa go in full tilt in there and like absolutely crash, then it's just not really working. I think it's always the like thing where like those riders don't want to break. They're the World Cup. Do you make the World Cup track for the bike park, or do you make the bike park track for the World Cup? That's kind of like, you know, how do you actually arrange that? Anyways, I'm on my way to Lenzerheide now. I don't know what it's going to be. It's supposed to be dry, but with potentially some thunderstorm later in the week. So we'll see how that goes and if it gets wet. So I'm not really sure. Lenzerheide is going to go. Last year, Amaury actually won. So maybe this is Amaury's one. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Amaury may win that one. So yeah, Lenzerheide, it's also, once again, a bike park track. It's actually really fun to ride. It's a great riding experience. The surroundings are beautiful. The gondola is very quick, so the riders can pack in a lot of laps. Yeah, so we'll see who actually wins that one. I guess it might be more suited to riders that can get absolutely pinned as opposed to riders that, you know, are better in the steeps and stuff. So I can see a Jackson, an Asa, one of those guys to like, or people that basically live at a bike park to be able to take that one. Maybe Andy's one for that as well, living in Schladming. Yeah, it is still like a hard track, but I guess it's quite fast. It's pretty full on. Will Asa and Theo actually backflip that big table? Maybe not. I'll try to be there and show you, but I think there's a good chance there'll be a bit of a backflip show there. Otherwise, random thoughts on things that happened this weekend. The Monster sponsorship, it seems to be working pretty well, at least when you're on site. I don't know what you guys are thinking watching online or on TV, but at least on site, the Monster sponsorship is quite good. Like, they have this activation, they have this games, they have barbershops. Like in Ludenvale, they had like that FMX show. I don't know, it's just cool. I think they are putting more effort into it than Red Bull did, if that makes sense. Like, at least that's how it feels like. So I'm going through a tunnel. So yeah, I guess it's kind of like interesting to see that Monster is putting some effort and money into the sport, and I hope it continues because I think it's really helping. And on site, you can really feel the difference. Sorry, I can't show you any riding this week. There's basically I've had to film the cross country for Win TV on Sunday. And I filmed the Average Rider versus World Cup track as well. So filmed that, edited some of that on Sunday, some of that on Monday. It came out yesterday, and now yeah, I'm just driving straight to Lenzerheide because track walk is tomorrow. So today I have to get to tomorrow. Today Tuesday I have to go. I got to record my intro for Friday training videos and the intro for the track walk. So I'm basically just full on the whole time. Sorry, I'm having a sandwich. just remember, we're chatting to Luca Shaw as well in the Canyon tent after the race. And obviously Luca didn't qualify after winning his first ever World Cup in Ludenville. And so we're chatting to him. He's like, yeah, look, dude, I feel better now. He's like, the highs and the lows, and the highs are really high and the lows are really low. And I never won a World Cup before, and I won one. And then I had never not qualified, and so in the week after I didn't qualify. So I basically hit top and bottom within a couple of weeks, which is kind of crazy. And it kind of plays onto the thing that how strong does athletes have to be in order to win a championship. Like, you know, there's another names and things that are being thrown around online, but it's like, to win a championship in downhill, like, it is an insane amount of physical and mental ability that you need to have. So this week I'm not filming wind stuff because he's not in Lenzerheide, so I'll focus on my content. So on the channel you'll be seeing a track walk video where I measure all the gaps and then the big doubles and stuff. There will be a training video. There'll be a quali video to see how the track evolves. I'm guessing they'll be cutting some new sections in like the fresh, so we'll see how that moves. And then there will be average rider versus World Cup track again, with a guest that is still unannounced. But yeah, there'll be some more videos coming out. Don't forget to tune in for all the rest of the World Cups. And as you know, this program is completely self-funded still. So if you feel like donating, buying one of the SIG t-shirts. Actually, I've got new t-shirts coming up for Lenzerheide. You can click the link down in the description and have a look at what it is. It's kind of fun. It's related to Theo's backflip from last year in ASA. So there's that, and then yeah, that's basically it. And I'm planning an average rider versus walker trap with Eddie Masters and Moi Moi. So that should be pretty good. It might happen in Italy. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate the support as always. I had quite a few donations this weekend for the program. It really warms my heart. It means a lot to me that you guys are actually ready to, you know, pay for the content. It's really awesome. Yeah, that's basically it. And then on Lenzerheide we go. We'll see first video of track walk tomorrow. See ya.